So you mentioned you've done Steve Goldstein in for Chris Merrill today. 30-plus debates now that you've moderated them.
Yeah. I still have PTSD from them, by the way.
When you go home and fire up the DVR, you're that guy.
Oh, I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you watch for?
So this is important to me.
Yeah.
This is just one man's opinion.
Yeah, well, you're a moderator. You watch like a pro.
I don't like when the moderators are engaged in...
So are we specifically talking the moderators here? Is that what you're watching?
Well, that's, my first step on that is to watch,
so David Muir, Lindsay Davis.
Yeah, what's a word other than control? Because I don't want them to assert control over it, but I want them to make it clear that...
They're in charge.
That they're in charge, but that no one's there to see them.
Okay.
It's almost like an umpire in baseball. It's like if the umpire calls
too many... Or a referee in a wrestling match.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the person running the thing... No one's there. We're there to watch Trump versus Harris. Mm-hmm. But if it gets to a point where...
But haven't the rules also dictated that they don't want Harris and Trump to interact with each other? So in a way, doesn't that assert the moderator more as a central figure that they have to have control of it if you don't want to see them dialoguing back and forth?
I will say, though, I've been much luckier in a lot of ways than the moderators tonight because I've had mostly well-behaved in the sense that they want to get their message out and not just attack each other. Mm-hmm. But tonight... This is the one chance we're going to get to see these two together. So it doesn't. Yes, it matters.
You don't think we're going to get other debates? I know traditionally we get 3, and former President Trump has said that he would like to see 3, but then some people say
3 at this point, though. Do we count the Biden-Trump as one of? I know we don't really count that, but
he said no. He was calling for 3 with Harris, but then some people say that all of this is just posturing by both sides. That if he had a good debate tonight, that he would. And she decided she wanted 3, he would say, no. He would find a way to say, fake news from all these outlets out there. So,
do we even know, though, just bouncing back, do we even know if Trump had a good debate against Biden? Because everything
He had a great debate because Biden had an awful debate.
Right, but so if he performs the exact same way against Harris tonight, because, who knows if Harris is going to do well, but we know she's going to be able to finish sentences.
So... I'm very torn on that, too, and here's the reason why. I was listening to this podcast last night, and they threw out there that they felt, and this is where your moderation expertise can come in again, they felt that President Trump had only won 1 of his last 7 debates, the one against Biden, which I'm convinced you or I or you out there listening could have won because Biden was so bad. And let's be honest, the guy's in his 80s. He's not up to the task anymore. Honestly, I think Joe Biden could debate circles around me, but he did not have a good night. He didn't do a good job. The people on this podcast were arguing he'd won 1 debate, but then they argued if you are part of Trump's base, you're going to say that he's won every single debate. So how do you fairly judge who won, who lost? I feel like he looked incredibly strong at some times against Hillary Clinton. I also didn't like some of the tactics that he pulled as well, where he kind of walked behind her. And those debates just felt dark. Yeah. The ones in 2020 with President Biden felt like it was just a food fight with the two of them talking over each other. And I feel like everybody lost. You, the viewer, listener, lost. They lost because neither one of them got to get a word in because they were just talking over each other. And with Hillary and Trump, it just became a zinger fest to see who could dump on the other one the hardest. Yeah. So I would argue Trump definitively won his last one because Biden was so bad. Right. Aside from that, I don't feel like when I sit down and look at my scorecard, like there is a clear winner or loser from most of the others.
Yeah, but winning on that last one, this is the point I wanted to make. So Biden got an F minus.
Yeah.
So, but did Trump get a C or did Trump get an A minus B plus?
I'd give him a B.
You would?
I thought he was fine.
All right, that's because to me he seemed a little off kilter as well.
Did he?
I mean, obviously the Biden was just lost.
Yeah.
But I would give Trump kind of, he passed, but not great. And I think if he does that against Harris, I think it's going to be harder for him. But she has also shown not a great affinity for being able to speak off the cuff
and
at all.
If she tries to attack him and embarrass him, I don't think it does her any favors to try to mommy the former president as well. I think that looks bad.
But if that gets him to what we were talking about before, where he almost loses it because he starts focusing anger toward her as opposed to economy, border security, like you said. If he starts making it a personality conflict, then I think it's going to be hard. If we look at that tiny percentage again of independents, it's great. It's great to get your base going. They're already going to vote for you, but at this point, they both need to, let's say, thread the needle again. They have to try that.
To me, it has to keep the Democrats up at night that they realize that Kamala could lose, and can she do enough to excite people to vote for her? That's a huge challenge. That's what they're facing when they lay there at night and stare at the ceiling. The Republican side, they know exactly what they've got. Trump wildly excites his base. He's never going to lose anyone in the base, but is he too unpopular with independents? Or can he win with his base? Are the people who are out there who are going to vote for him, is that enough? And can the Democrats not do enough? That is the question that they're concerned about.
That's why I think the most important thing tonight is, yes, border security is incredibly important, but even far beyond that,
it's all the economy.
It's the economy, Joe. If she can convince people that she is just middle of the road and she's not the stereotype, oh my God, tax and spend liberal, she's gonna make everything go up, and oh my God, we're all gonna be out of work.
Can you do that in 90 minutes?
Well, if people are wanting to be on her side, she can, because she's never gonna get the Trump base. Of course, he's never gonna get her base. But if she somehow stumbles around, doesn't have a plan, even if the plan isn't that great or the plan isn't that much better than Trump, if she starts spouting sort of old saws that scare people, then she's in trouble. But if she comes across as competent, comes across as someone who knows what she's doing and can make him look like he's not the guy 8 years ago, man. 8 years ago, you could make the argument that here's a guy who was
totally different guy.
Yes,
he was fresh then.
Brash, obnoxious, but boy, charismatic, pretty sharp. If he just comes across a guy who loses it whenever anyone criticizes him, you're going to see people go, wow, do I want 4 more years of that guy? I don't really necessarily want 4 years of her, but I know what I'm getting with him, and I'm not sure I want that.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe, and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.